money isn't actually the problem that's holding most people back. It actually tends to be behavior most of the time. A lot of people that are usually struggling tend to think, I need to make more money. And the truth is, they probably just need to stop wasting the money that they are currently have or currently earning. I think this applies to a lot of cases. Obviously not all. I think money usually makes you more of who you already are. You know, if you're disciplined and you have more income, then you'll be able to use that to better yourself, whether it's investing or saving. If you're an individual that's quite careless and you're, always spending a lot, you have, very extravagant spending, clothes, trips, I think more money will lead you down that path as well. There's a lot of bad spending habits now that are normal. And I think, capitalism and things, certainly encourage this normal behavior of spending, tapping cards or Apple Pay. It doesn't even feel like you're doing really anything. There's no paper involved. You don't actually feel the money leaving your account. And even things like subscriptions or like food delivery, Klarna, like buy now, pay later. Those are so normal now, and it feels so normal in this society. And I think that's because, none of it feels dramatic. There's not really an emotional state unless you're a super disciplined and really aware individual. I think if you're really into your personal finances, then tapping your card for $20, you feel that. But I think most people tend to not internalize what's actually going on. And I think a lot of people are scared to look at their statements, so they don't even want to know what's going on. And you hear a lot of people they'll talk about one event in their life that may have hurt them a lot financially or set them back for a significant period of time. I don't think people ruin themselves with one big financial mistake that happens in their lives. If you really boil it down, it's kind of like a death by 1,000 cuts type of thing. The impulse buys, convenience spending, constantly upgrading things they have, thinking you deserve something like going out to eat or I don't know, something along those lines. And obviously I'm not saying not to do any of those things. I'm just saying if you're constantly doing them and then you have a very large expense comes up, like you need a new car or something, and that sets you back for 2 years to recover financially from an event like that. I think that that one major event isn't to blame for your current position. It would be all the past things that you were doing as well. And I've talked about this in other videos as well, but lifestyle inflation is completely out of hand now. Every time people start making more money, they're getting a nicer apartment, getting a nicer car, going out to eat more because they make more. And you got promoted, you feel like you deserve it. I completely understand the thinking. It's just that if you really want to get ahead with your money, you really have to be disciplined in your spending and really focus on the goal and not comfort in the moment. And I think that kind of traps middle class individuals into feeling broke. This lifestyle inflation, it's more. I think that's kind of like the American thing, always wanting more and nothing's ever enough. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you're really struggling financially, then you should probably get away from that mindset. If you were able to get away from the, more mindset, then I think you can really prioritize your own life and your own goals because you're able to get your spending under control. Another point I want to make is I think people also feel that wanting things is different than needing things. I've also mentioned this in a previous video, but if you ever watch like a Caleb Hammer YouTube video, people cannot figure out what the difference is between a want and a need. Like going to get fast food or like going to a restaurant, that's a want. That's not a need. Even though it is like a basic, food is a basic thing you need for survival. There's other ways to do it, but you're just choosing to go the easier route for convenience. And I think a lot of companies can trap you into this mindset as well with like free shipping or like spend $100, get 20% off or something. Just incentivizes you to want more that you don't actually need. A lot of companies are doing this, but I think a lot of people internalize that message as well and apply it to their own lives, even when there's not like a discount attached. I've had a rough, week at work that incentivize people to spend more. Saying I have had a rough week and I just want to do something nice is a lot easier to say than I wanted it and I couldn't control myself and I purchased it. And that might sound a little harsh. I don't mean to be harsh, but that is the message. If you're letting your emotions hijack your spending behavior, you're just not disciplined enough to the goals that you're trying to achieve. And you're letting a, feeling that you have today hurt your goal financially that you might want to be somewhere in 5 years. Those little emotional buys are really affecting your goal, believe it or not. And the whole lifestyle inflation thing, I think this kind of falls in this category as well, but convenience has become like basically normal. People pay to avoid minor discomfort all the time. Whether it's like, paying an extra $20 for parking that's a little closer to an event you're going to, or going out to lunch every day instead of packing your own. There's plenty of things you can think of that if you just weren't to do them, you'd be totally fine. It just might require a little extra effort here or there. And I think people have become scared of that. They just don't want to do it anymore. Everyone feels drained, and that's just, I feel like that's the overall attitude of America right now is, the convenience spending. People think it's necessary. And this also falls in the wants and needs thing, right? Oh, I just want to be in and out of there nice and easy, so I'm going to do the grocery pickup, and you have the subscription, right? Do we really need it? Probably not. I mean, obviously, if you have it budgeted in and that kind of thing, I'm totally for it. If that's a big thing you really enjoy, go for it. But I think people compound all of these things like in their own life, and that's what really hurts them financially. I also think people tend to have a large amount of financial goals in their life. You know, that whatever the number is they want, or whatever it is they want to be able to do, right? Everyone usually has something in mind. And I think the goal actually doesn't really matter that much. It's more of what you're doing every day that matters. Your habits of planning and investing and saving are way more important than the number that you want to get to, right? Because you're actually taking action, that is way more important than the goal. Having a system beats, motivation. You don't have to feel responsible every day. You just have to automate your good habits. So out of your paycheck, all your money is gone. It goes somewhere, you can't touch it, right? You're then setting yourself up to succeed because you're not able to basically change any progress you're making. You're in charge of the progress you're making, right? And this is all behavioral, right? That's why I don't think money is the problem. I think a lot of people's behavior is. And I think people tend to chase to have an easier life. They chase relief and, feeling good. And that I'm all for feeling great. I love that. But at the same time, if you do have goals you want to achieve, or, maybe the goal is owning a house or being debt free, there are steps you have to take to do that. And it's going to be difficult to do those things. And that's where your behavioral needs to change. And you really have to, lock in and make the right choices. And the goal is not perfection and never to enjoy a dollar you make. It's to stop acting like everything you buy is just random and harmless, because it isn't. And once you're able to start to notice these patterns in your life, that's when I think change can start to happen. And once that change happens, I think you'll be more inclined to start doing that in other aspects of your life as well, not just personal finance. But yeah, that's just my opinion on behavior being a bigger issue than the actual amount of money you make. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment.